Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Greg Carswell. I'm the Regional Sales Manager for Yamaha, and I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning for this webinar involving Yamaha, ScreenBeam, and Lumens for our Plug and Play and Collaborate today's session. We will be presenting a proven, easily integrated, and perhaps most importantly, a scalable solution involving only Ethernet, category cabling, and USB connections for the entire solution. All three vendors have worked together to fully test this solution before recommending it to our customers. Now, to give you just a little background, the idea for presenting this collaboration approach came from when, as a Yamaha team, Tim and I were in the field doing end-user appointments with one of our AV integration partners in Arkansas. In fact, we visited 10 customers on this trip. And we noticed that after reviewing the Yamaha Odessia solution with the customer, the partner then discussed each time how ScreenBeam used for wireless display sharing and Lumens PTZ cameras work so well with our Odessia solution for a complete package for the customer. We tested the approach of presenting jointly at an integrator's annual customer event, and the combined solution was a hit with the attendees. And then recently, when doing another field end user appointment with another integrator sales rep in Florida, after presenting the solution, the customer exclaimed, "This is exactly what I'm looking for, something easier to install and support for all our classrooms." So let's move forward with this creative approach and get you familiar with the individual vendor solutions and how they all easily come together for a great customer solution for any type or size of conference rooms, classrooms, multi-purpose rooms, auditoriums, or wherever people need to meet. So we'll be referring to this diagram a few times throughout this program today. This just gives you an idea of a similar or a typical type of installation that might happen when multiple ceiling grid microphones and multiple cameras are used, and along with the ScreenBeam display sharing. So we'll start off with Timothy Mackie as our first presenter from Yamaha. Then we'll move to Daryn Rank for ScreenBeam, and Andrew Mulazzi from Lumens will take us up at the end. So let's get into the Yamaha portion here first. Tim?
Yeah, thanks, Greg, and thank you, everybody, for your time. My name's Tim Mackie. I'm a field systems engineer with Yamaha Unified Communications, and it's just a real exciting time to be at Yamaha, especially with these partnerships with Lumens and ScreenBeam. It's a very exciting solution. Now, I'm going to talk about the audio portion, and again, like Greg said, it's fully scalable. But essentially, Yamaha has really changed the game with Odessia. This system came out 4 years ago, and it's just been groundbreaking and revolutionary. By leveraging technology from other Yamaha divisions, for example, Yamaha is one of the largest initial investors in Audinate, from our musical equipment to our home theaters, all the way on down to our unified communications equipment as well. Also, we're leveraging unique technologies from other audio divisions. For example, if you buy a Yamaha 7.1 surround sound system for your house, it comes with a microphone in the box that you put on your couch or your seat where you sit, and it plays pink noise and tone sweeps throughout the speaker system and listens with the microphones and tunes for that room and for the acoustics of that room. That's exactly what we're doing in conferencing. As you can see on the picture on the left, once you mount the line array speakers, mount the ceiling microphone, mount the controller somewhere and plug everything into the switch, you are literally about 1 minute and 6 mouse clicks from being done. And that's true of this whole package, this whole solution. It's extremely easy to set up, yet all of the granular adjustability you would want in a traditional DSP and a traditional audio system is there as well. And if you look at the bottom right too, even the switches are all made by Yamaha. We make our own switches, routers, and firewalls. We're kind of like the Cisco of routing and switching in Japan. We dominate that sector. We are the largest Ethernet infrastructure provider for small to mid-sized businesses in Japan. So by leveraging these technologies, we create Odessia. Greg, next slide. So here is our solution, and it's what we call distributed architecture. If you review how it's been done in the past, you'll generally see a diagram with a big DSP right in the middle. That's your processor. And then all your microphones and speakers are attached. Well, with Odessia, we've taken that processing, the acoustic echo cancellation, the active dereverberation, the noise suppression, all of the traditional processing you need in conferencing and training rooms, and moved it into the microphones themselves. That ceiling microphone, the RMCG, has the DSP built within. The RMTT table mics, same thing. And the wireless microphones have this a DSP built within that antenna as well. And our controller, the signal processor you see in the middle, simply collects and aggregates all the mic signals and puts them together onto your 4 interfaces, more than enough for most rooms. We have Bluetooth, SIP, line in and out, and USB. I'm actually using this system right now. I'm talking to you on one of the table mics, and my laptop is connected to that RMCR processor via the USB. And I have my 30-watt per channel line array speakers. Everything is powered by this switch. The switch is the only thing you plug into a wall outlet. This is 100% Ethernet-based solution. So for 90% of today's bread and butter rooms that we install in, this solution is all you need. Forget that traditional DSP. We have a 16-channel card in that processor, which allows you to mix and match the microphones as needed for any particular room. You'll notice on the front of that processor too, we have 2 XLR inputs. You can bring any 2 analog microphones into the mix as well. Those 2 analog circuits do route to the in-room speakers for voice lift, presentation, town hall meetings within the space, and they get mixed into your Teams and Zoom calls with your 16 digital mics as well. So this can scale for, like I said, 90% of the rooms out there. Next slide, Greg. So the heart of our system is really the dynamic multi-beam tracking microphone. If you've seen any of my webinars and demonstrations, you'll know I'm usually talking on that in my space here. I have a 1,500 square foot metal building, and I usually do the demonstrations with it. And what's cool about this microphone, unlike every other mic on the market, this has no setup on the audio pickup pattern. Forget setting up static beams and lobes. In a traditional 8 to 10 foot ceiling height installation, we will cover about a 25 by 25 area. And we generate multiple dynamic beams which focus on the human participants only. We actually use something called HVAD, Human Voice Activity Detection. And we generate a very fixed, very tight, focused 15 to 16 degree beam. There's actually a very cool YouTube video on our channel of 4 of my coworkers all talking at the same time. More than you'd have in any sort of comprehensive meeting. It's low intelligibility. Everyone's talking over each other. Yet you can close your eyes and pick out each person's cadence and exactly what they're saying because we have an active beam on each one of them. This is right now the IT microphone on the market. This is the state-of-the-art best microphone on the market. I'm not aware of any competition or bake-off where we haven't shined above the competition. Next slide, Greg. Also, our tabletop microphones, I'm actually speaking on one of those now. I'm usually on the ceiling mic, but I wanted to change it up a little bit for this webinar. These microphones are not your old-fashioned table mic by any means. There's a full DSP built within this microphone. There are 4 elements in there, 4 microphones 90 degrees apart, and they can do advanced HVAD auto voice tracking. So if you just put the mic on the table, it's going to find a human being anywhere in 360 degrees around that microphone and put a cardioid beam on them. They also have a mounting bracket in there. You can mount these microphones, and with our advanced technology and the DSP in there, you can now create up to 4 static beams to aim in any direction. A lot of times we'll see these microphones at the front of a training room, on the wall below the camera, between the 2 hybrid displays, covering that front wall with a half circle of directional audio. That way, when the presenter, he or she, has their back to the room, their back to the ceiling mic, now we have directional audio on them from that front wall and a master mute button if they want to mute the whole room as well. There's 4 mute buttons on that microphone too. So these are a phenomenal microphone that our integrators do pepper into the designs with the ceiling mics and the wireless mics. Next slide. And speaking of the wireless mics, here they are. This was a brand new system about 19 months ago now, came out in fall of last year. And again, we did our homework, same as with the other microphones. We took a look at what was out there and came up with a better mousetrap. This is a single Cat5 wire to that white antenna. And you can add an 8-channel system only using 1 port on your Ethernet switch, on your PoE switch. The charger base and the microphones all talk to the antenna wirelessly. You can plug that charger in anywhere. It does not need a data drop. We have phenomenal batteries in these microphones. We're getting over 20 hours of guaranteed talk time out of them. And that's a conservative estimate. I'm actually getting a little more in my testing. But what Yamaha did that was really slick, we put a USB-C charge port on the base of each one of these microphones. So now you can talk all day long, run that battery way down, and then simply plug it into your laptop or any USB-C charge cable on that table. The microphone stays fully active while it charges back up locally. There are 4 mic styles. We have a 12 and 6-inch gooseneck. We have an omnidirectional mic with 360 pickup pattern and 4 mute buttons, and we have a 120-degree directional with a single mute button on it. So you can mix and match these. And by the way, within our solution, within Adesio, you can have up to 16 of these. And I'll drop a little hint, not to steal any of Andrew's thunder, but Lumens is also developing camera tracking based on these as well. So it's not just our ceiling mics you'll be able to do that with in the future. You'll be able to camera track with the wireless and the table mics as well. Next slide, Greg. Here is our switch. Again, we are a powerhouse in the networking industry. A little known fact on this side of the pond, probably. We have 2 switches available. We will always work with you to scale to the most cost-effective switch. If you're not using our digital line arrays, because our controller can support analog speakers as well, then we'll generally scale to the smaller switch. This one has 8 PoE plus ports, 240 watts, and 2 combination non-powered ports to daisy chain to other switches. Take advantage of this being an Ethernet-based solution. You know, we'll plug the cameras, any other peripheral devices into our switch network. And by the way, if you're putting 4 table mics at a table, it might be better to put a little 5-port PoE switch under there and run 1 wire back to your main rack. Now, also keep in mind, it does not have to be a Yamaha switch. Any Dante-approved network switch with the right power will supply and work with our systems. Again, any Dante network will work. Next slide, Greg. Now, here's the secret sauce. This is the magic box. This replaces traditional DSPs, and again, those 90% bread and butter rooms. There are those 2 XLR mic inputs, and by the way, when I'm at trade shows and I take this system to demo, I'll plug a handheld Yamaha mic in there and make announcements throughout the show floor. Comes right out my speakers, and those 2 inputs can be mixed with my digital mics. There are 4 interfaces. There's the Bluetooth button. I can walk into the room and pair my phone and use Bluetooth as my line in and out and use the world-class audio of that room system. Next slide, Greg. Here are the line array speakers, and these are phenomenal. I think Yamaha has really broken ground here by bringing true high-performance line arrays into conferencing. I think you will see other manufacturers start to follow our lead with this. 2 things make these speakers applicable for conferencing. By the way, they're fully ADA compliant when mounted. Most people bump them right up against the display. They kind of really disappear. We're showing them off here in this slide. They're 2 inches wide, 4 inches deep, and 44 inches tall, and there are 16 high-energy matched high-performance drivers in there. Next slide. 2 things make those speakers applicable, by the way, for conferencing. One is the directionality of the line array. They're 170-degree horizontal dispersion pattern on only 25 vertical. So you don't bounce any audio off the floor and ceiling like a traditional speaker would. You literally fill the room with a beautiful horizontal band of audio. For conferencing, these will suffice for a 20 by 30 room, a 30 by 30 room. As long as you don't exceed too deep a room, you can go buy a 50-foot wide by 30-foot deep room. These speakers are only 9 dB down over a 40-foot distance. I'm now sitting about 4 foot from one of these, and I'm not going deaf, yet I can walk 30 feet away here in my shop and still hear very, very comfortably. These are really leading the way, are a phenomenal option for conferencing, and as you can see, they come in white and black, and they are fully paintable. Next slide, Greg. So I want to talk about some of the advanced features within this system as well. Again, trying to not take too much time and share with the other gentlemen here, but I want to touch on a couple of the advanced features. One of them is our combine and divide system. Again, 90% of the rooms out there, Adesio is all you need, even combine and divide. And with our new Wizard, your entry-level technicians can set up a 4-way combine and divide conferencing suite with just a few mouse clicks. So if you look at the top picture, we have 2 separate rooms. And by the way, our solution is fully Teams and Zoom certified. So look at those as 2 separate Teams or Zoom rooms. And in each room there, you'll see we have a pair of speakers, a ceiling mic, a computer, and a controller. That's the bare minimum for a Teams room, right? By the way, that is a phenomenal solution for that price point. Again, this is a very affordable solution as well. Anyway, once you're done mounting everything, within 6 mouse clicks, you're done with that room. It's auto-tuned and ready to go, just like our home theaters. It is fully tuned for that environment. You go into the second room, room 2 there on the right. rinse and repeat, do the same thing. Then you take a snapshot. Not only do we have a full control API for our solution, can be controlled from any third-party solution, but we also have 10 built-in presets which allow you to do some amazing stuff. So we will call one of those presets snapshot number 1, and we'll take a system state of that room with 2 separate rooms, of that system with 2 separate rooms. Then you simply open up the air door, log into one of the controllers that you want to be the new main unit for that single room, grab the mics and speakers from room 2, and with a few mouse clicks, you run the auto tuning, and now you have a completely different snapshot called preset number 2. So with a very simple command, one line ASCII command from a control system, we can toggle between these 2 arrangements. And by the way, this takes minutes to do instead of hours that would take a normal audio engineer to set something like this up. That's one of the real advancements of this system, is the simplicity of really advanced stuff. And by the way, with that one executable command, we are changing the Dante routes, the equipment set, and the tuning of those rooms. Really, really easy to do. Next slide, Greg. Now here's an example of our advanced control, which we just released with our 2.5 this year, our latest update. And by the way, all of our firmware updates are always free and are feature rich. But with this solution, we've now included control within the Audencia architecture. We're showing here on the left our little wall plate, the MCP1 Yamaha plate. That too is a PoE Plus device. And that can store all of our presets, mute buttons, volume control. Anything you'd want to control in that room can be stored right on that controller. You're then going to simply walk in the room, hit preset 1, for example. We're then going to tell the RMCR to do what we just talked about, make wholesale changes within our system. And now we can store third-party commands so we can control the cameras as well, shade systems, lighting systems. Any third-party device within that ecosystem can now be fully controlled with the Yamaha solution. So this is a huge advancement. Forget needing a third-party control system anymore. And by the way, we can also create virtual touch panels with our Provision Air templates very quickly and very easily. You can set up any sort of app to live on a tablet or a PC as well. So now with the 2.5 advancements within Audencia, you have a fully scalable solution, multiple microphone options, and this beautiful compatibility with Lumens and ScreenBeam as well. Next slide, Greg. So just to finish off, here is the last picture of what all you really need for your room. Pick the microphones that are applicable for your room, be it ceiling mics, table mics, wireless mics. Bring in a couple of analog presenter mics if you want as well. Select your speakers or leverage existing speakers or both. We'll auto-tune out of the analog and digital speakers. And by the way, there's full active crossovers and parametric equalization within that signal processor. I actually have a 10-inch powered subwoofer, and I'm sending only the high frequencies to my line arrays and only the low frequencies to my subwoofer. So whether you want basic audio in that room or really movie quality high-end audio, we've got you covered. So that's it on the audio portion. I'm going to hand it over now to the other gentleman.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. And now we're going to move on to Daryn Rank and talk about ScreenBeam down in the lower left-hand shaded corner there. Daryn is the Director of Business Development for ScreenBeam. And take it away, Daryn.
Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you, Tim. Great presentation. Thank you, Greg. Hey, my name is Daryn Rank, as Greg said. I'm the Biz Dev Director at ScreenBeam, and I've got a lot of sales experience with ScreenBeam as well. I'm very excited to be on this webinar today with the 2 fantastic partners we're working with in Yamaha and Lumens to be talking about our conference room solutions. One of the things I want to start with is just a little bit about ScreenBeam. So we are the Microsoft co-engineering partner and co-inventor of Miracast. And what Miracast is a wireless protocol that's built into the Windows operating system that can be used either peer-to-peer or via the network. And on the previous slide that Tim showed, that shows the whole configuration of our conferencing solution, you'll see that, yeah, thank you. You'll see what ScreenBeam does is we're that piece that brings that wireless connection and presentation through the customer. And what I'm going to be talking about today is our 1100p. Greg, go, yeah, thank you. So the nice thing, back one, please.
Sure.
The nice thing about ScreenBeam is we've got a portfolio that is manageable, right? We're not someone that's every chipset that we change, we've got a new product coming out. So this is a lineup that you'll be using when you integrate with ScreenBeam. Very simple. We've got a ScreenBeam 1100 Plus, which is dedicated for the enterprise, higher ed, healthcare, anything where you're going into small and medium businesses. This is where we're going to bring in conferencing. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. We also partner that with our USB Pro switch, which is a piece that partners with the 1100P. So you have to use that with our 1100P, but it's an add-on of only about $100. And that's what really enhances the UC room integration. I'll talk about that in just a second. And I do want to mention, in case anyone's out there that might be interested in going into the K-12 market, we do have, we're very dominant actually in the K-12 education space, and we've got a ScreenBeam 1000 EDU. In fact, we just released our G2, our Generation 2 product of that back at FETC earlier this year. So I'm going to concentrate on the 1100P, and what we're talking about today is when you're using products from our partners here, how can you enhance that room? A lot of people are going to a dedicated room nowadays, right? Especially since COVID, they're doing hybrid or remote rooms, and they're doing some sort of dedication. The two most popular, obviously, you guys know this, is Zoom or MTR's Microsoft Teams room. We work flawlessly with those type of setups. We also have folks that want to do a BYOM or a BYOD. So bring your own meeting or bring your own device where you can just launch the device right from your platform, whatever laptop that you're carrying. Again, we can work in either one of those scenarios. What we do is we have a USB on the back side of our 1100P, and also with our hub that you can plug those extra resources into our system. So they can be all in one. So it can be a camera, speaker type thing. So maybe you have a smaller huddle type room. We'll be talking about that later when we talk about room configurations. Or you can piecemeal it and you can go to switches and cameras and multiple cameras and the whole thing that you're hearing about from the Yamaha and the Lumens folks today. So now we can do both, and we can really scale to whatever your needs are. Go ahead, Greg. So our 1100 Plus, just to give you a little bit of detail on this, it is made for enterprise or higher ed customers. We work with any OS. In fact, as I mentioned before, because we are a co-engineering partner with Microsoft, we are native or built into the operating system. If you want to see that, all you have to do now is if you're in front of a Windows device, hit the Windows and K button at the same time. You can do it right now, and you'll see a little flyout. That is where you would see a ScreenBeam, and you would just connect right there. So very, very easy to connect. We do a multi-network connection, so you can be on the network via Ethernet, or we have two wireless antennas that are built in as well. You can be on both channels at the same time. We also bring you the conferencing feature. Obviously, we're talking about that today, where you can connect to any kind of platform, whether it be Zooms, Teams, Rings, web meeting, GoToMeeting, anything like that, you can connect. Some of our key selling points, it's a one-time cost. You do not have to pay for anything. We've got 3 different levels of security. So when you connect, we do pins and a whole bunch of different levels of security that we can walk you through and go in depth on if you've got folks that are interested in that. We're 4K wireless. We've got a whole bunch of different modes that we offer. We offer a lightweight digital signage at no cost. We offer touch capabilities. So if you have a touch capable display, all you have to do is add a USB connection, and you're going to be able to do touch-based activity up on the front of the screen, as well as from the device if it's touch capable. So we can do two-way touch, and we've got a patent. We called it ghost inking, which just allows you to have the real-time touch experience so that there's no lag when you're doing touching. It's been fantastic. We've had a lot of folks report back that they haven't had a better touch experience on a wireless device. Go ahead. So where I also wanted to mention this USB Pro switch. So where this comes in is this is, again, partnered with the 1100P. And what you can see there is this is the capability where you can go through our switch, and this is an auto switch. And what this allows you to do is if you've got a customer that has a dedicated room. So, you know, if you're a Teams house, so ScreenBeam, we use Teams. So 90% of the time, if I'm sending out a meeting, it's going to be through Teams. And we do Teams all day long internally. And then if we assign the meeting, it's going to be externally as well. So if we do a conference room, we could do an MTR, get it dedicated to Microsoft Teams. Microsoft would still own the front of the screen. When you go up, you just hit join meeting. You can use a ScreenBeam in that mode. You'd connect a switch, all your external resources. So the fantastic Lumens cameras that you're going to be connecting, and the Yamaha audio that you're going to be utilizing, and the switches, if you're going up to a room that big, can all go through our switch. And then you have one line that goes to the MTR in this case, and then you have one line that goes to the ScreenBeam. And what that allows you to do is, again, 90% of the time when you're using Teams, you'll walk into the conference room, you'll join a meeting, all your resources will be over to the MTR room. It will work flawlessly. You can run your meeting. Everything will be great. But what happens when you join that meeting that somebody else set up and they don't use Microsoft Teams? They use Zoom. So you've got that link. Well, first of all, from my experience, you usually find that out about 2 minutes before the meeting starts. And now you're sitting in this big conference room that's got all these cameras and all these mics and everything else, and you're right back to using the camera that's on your laptop. So what you can do is join through the ScreenBeam, launch that platform, and again, it can be any platform. And then what our switch does is it detects where that signal is coming from, and it will give you all those resources. So we have a Decia set up in our conference room. It will give all those resources over to the ScreenBeam. So now you can be in that dedicated MTR room through ScreenBeam, launch your Zoom, and then get all those resources. So you've got your camera, you've got your audio, everything that's in that room. So it really opens up that room. It unlocks that room to every platform. And when you're done with that meeting, you can go right back to the MTR that is going to be mostly utilized in that room. So it's really a fantastic product. And from what we've seen, this solves a lot of issues, not only with end customers, but if there's any resellers or integrators out there, I'm sure you've run into this scenario. This is a fantastic solution to that problem for the connection piece of this solution. I do want to talk a little bit about partnership benefits if there's any resellers out there, or if you're an end customer and you're going through a reseller, I want you to be aware of what we can offer. So yes, we do loaners and we do buy and tries. So you can go through and get our product, get it into your environment, do a POC type testing, get things going. We do deal registrations through the reseller. So we do special pricing for them so that we can offer better pricing that will filter down to the end customer. We do white glove service. That means we'll get on, we'll help you with your qualification process. So if you've got networking questions, how is this going to work on my system? If you've got security questions, I mentioned earlier, we'll bring on resources and we can talk you through all that. We can talk you through, you know, are you a 90% Windows and then you've got some Apple products? What is that going to look like on your system? We've got technical support. And then, of course, if you're doing a large deployment, we've got deployment advice so that we can help you do the deployment through our CMSE, which stands for Central Management System Enterprise. So again, that is free. That's part of our offering. And that's where your IT department can manage the devices from a central location. And they can do backgrounds, firmwares, they can do a whole bunch of different things. And that's something we offer as well and is at no cost. We do bundles. Right now we're doing bundles with Yamaha and Lumens, as you're hearing about today, but you know, we also do some display bundles that are targeted towards our EDU. So be on the lookout with that because we love to partner with folks and provide solutions for you rather than you guys having to piece everything together. So this is a very complicated chart, but I'm going to just make it very easy. I think one of the things that makes ScreenBeam stand out is that we're very flexible. If you've got a customer that is interested in going wireless, you know, you don't have to go to them and say, oh, you want to go wireless? This is how you have to make it work. The way that we can connect to your system makes it so that we're very flexible and we're able to connect in a variety of ways. And so what you're seeing here, just to kind of walk through this quickly, up at the top is your standard corporate network with a firewall. The big black box on the left-hand side, that's your display. You'll see that there's an HDMI connection to the ScreenBeam. Just going down on the bottom there, there's several different ways that you can connect. So again, because we're native in the Windows operating system and we're co-inventors of Miracast, that's built in. So if you have an employee or a guest that walks in with a Windows device, all they have to do is what I showed you earlier, Windows K, and they can connect. And that's in a peer-to-peer mode. You're actually not even on the network. This is a great thing, especially for anybody that's got a guest that comes in and wants to do a presentation and they're not part of your network internal domain. They can come in, Windows K, see that ScreenBeam connect and start presenting right away. We also do in the orange box, one of the issues that you see is, okay, that's great if you're a Windows device, but what happens if you're Apple device? So Apple requires that you be on the same network. No problem if you plug in or connect to the network, it will pick up all those Apple devices. But if you have a guest that walks in and you don't have a guest network, how is that person going to connect to your wireless solution? So what we've done is we broadcast an SSID, very similar to like when you've got a Wi-Fi at home and you give, you know, your brother the password when he's visiting. We broadcast an SSID that creates a little local Wi-Fi, and that allows those Apple devices, and really any device, but it's kind of really targeted for the solution for Apple, to be able to connect and be able to join that network as a guest walking into a conference room they've never been in. And we've even made this easier by putting a QR code on a ready to connect screen. So you can walk up and just take a picture of that QR code and do that connection seamlessly. So we've really looked at that. So that's another way that you can connect. The salmon kind of pink colored box, that's just plugging in your Ethernet, and that's being on the network. If you join the network, you could do that wirelessly as well. That's where you're going to pick up any device that's on the domain. So at screenbeam.com would pick up any device that's on that domain. And then the last box, the light blue box, is the guest network. So if you do want to set up a guest network, you can definitely set up a guest network, and then you can go in and you can assign it wireless capabilities so that you can provide internet. So all four of those are different ways that you can connect through either our Ethernet or our wireless antennas. And you can do just one, all four, pick two, any kind of combination you want. So again, we're very flexible when you walk into an enterprise and you want to see how they can connect wirelessly. You can see all the different options that you can provide for them. I believe, yeah, so that's my last slide. I'm going to hand it off to Andrew. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Daryn. It certainly seems like ScreenBeam can do it all in the conference room. So now we're going to transition to Andrew Mulazzi at Lumens. He's going to take us through their PTC cameras and their innovative Cam Connect Pro processor.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Mulazzi. I am a zone manager here at Lumens Integration. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all. Greg, you can go next. So just a little bit about Lumens. If you're unfamiliar with Lumens, we are celebrating our 25th year as a high-tech manufacturer who focuses on optical technology, image capture and transmission, signal processing, and video encoding. We are a subsidiary of Pegatron. And the benefit for us in that relationship is that we have access to a great number of technical resources from a number of different platforms as a manufacturer of technologies for a lot of different products and categories out there. You can go next, Greg, please. So lumens are core technology. Three things that we are known for and our focus really. Optical strength. We are a leader in optical technology, not just for cameras, but a variety of other products out there that we develop for our lumens products as well as for our OEM partnerships. We're experts with a deep understanding of broadcast and digital imaging processing. So we're really adept in that particular area. And we are strongly pushing and a pioneer really in AV over IP, innovators in IP video streaming. We're at the forefront of a number of different technologies and protocols such as NDI, Dante AV, and others. Next slide, please. So our future plan as we roll forward, again, focusing very much on AV over IP. The industry is just steamrolling as more AV is going over IP. And again, our development and being a leader in the development of such technologies, again, NDI, Dante, and others out there, is something that we focus on. And in conjunction with today, really the next three things here: AI video production, trying to automate as much video production as we can through artificial intelligence and other technologies is a big focus. And as we develop our products and solutions, we are very focused on what it means to the end user and how it fits into an ecosystem. So rather than just building the best products that we can, we are always consulting with our partners and really and end users and thinking about how our products fit into a solution, how we work within the ecosystem as with our partners and other products that are out there on the market. Greg, you can go next. Lumens is a Taiwanese-based manufacturer, so that gives us the benefit of offering most of our line as being TAA and NDAA compliant. And all Lumens products offer a 5-year advanced warranty for all of our products. So we're so confident in the products. We have a very low failure rate, and we offer 5-year warranties across the board. We also offer a very aggressive demo unit lending program. So this is for our reseller partners as well as end users. If you would like to try Lumens products within your environment, just reach out to one of us and we will ship it to you. You get a 30-day trial, and there's a label in the box. You ship it back to us using that label. It's a no-cost way to get your hands on some Lumens product and see how it works within your environment. Okay, so today we are focused on our Cam Connect Pro AI voice tracking solution. So this is a hybrid solution. It is a solution that is unique to Lumens. It is award-winning, and again, its focus really is to enhance your meeting experience with multiple cameras. It's a scalable system, and it's utilizing a combination of voice tracking as well as AI tracking with automatic switching, and it works with just about any Lumens camera that is in our portfolio: PTZ, auto tracking, our NDI line, our Dante offerings, box cameras, and video conferencing cameras as well too. So very simply, the solution, and I think we'll talk a little bit more about this in some of the diagrams and examples, but very simply what this device does, our Cam Connect Pro, is a box. It's about the size of a large deck of cards, and it sits in your rack, and it communicates over the network to the Yamaha Odessia system, essentially stealing or borrowing or utilizing, whatever word you'd like to use, the data that Yamaha is creating with their Odessia system. And then we're taking that information and routing it to our cameras, and we're recalling presets on our cameras. So as someone speaks in seat one, we'll have a preset already set up for that, and that Cam Connect will take that data from the Odessia system and send it to our camera. Then we will output that information to the ScreenBeam products via USB video, and then Daryn can and the ScreenBeam solution can then output it locally and or over your MTR, Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever it happens to be. So again, advanced voice tracking combined with AI technology. So the AI portion, or the hybrid portion here, is the voice tracking will trigger the preset. But if you're like me, 5 minutes into a meeting, I might be sitting slightly left or slightly right of where I started. Well, that's one of the ways the AI will pick up and use a feature known as center stage. And if I've moved left or moved right, the AI portion will then adjust the camera to put me in the center as well, back in the middle of the shot. The other AI feature that we have as well is if I'm at the front of the room and within a zone and I'm speaking and I decide to get up and go to the whiteboard or whatever it happens to be, the AI portion will then follow me using visual tracking. Again, it is scalable. We currently support up to 4 Lumens cameras, but it could be 1 camera and up to 4 cameras as well.
So that finishes up the formal part of the presentation, and we had gotten together and just put together a few different room scenarios. We'll go through very quickly here on how these solutions can scale working together to really fit any type of meeting space. So here's a quick little medium-sized hybrid meeting room example. One where there's maybe just a typical rectangular conference table, and how we would use the products together to cover that full room and table for them, and using the ScreenBeam for the display. U-shaped scenario presents some different configuration issues for those cameras. So the auto tracking and sharing the information between the Yamaha Odessia RMCG ceiling grid mic and the Lumens cameras, and using the Cam Connect Pro allows that to happen seamlessly. Hybrid high-flex rooms now are very important, not only for education, but corporate and healthcare and government. Any time where you need to get more people gathered into a single space, and to be able to provide that type of audio and camera coverage along with the display sharing technology. Again, another high flex room scenario. And as we mentioned early in the presentation, these solutions are all scalable, so we can really address any size room possible. Individually, our products have capabilities. Collectively, as you heard from Andrew just now, they can support up to 4 cameras on the Cam Connect Pro. That can work with 4 ceiling grid mics from Odessia, or even possibly more as we scale up to 16 ceiling grid microphones with our Odessia solutions. And then again, ScreenBeam is just handling all the display needs there for the wireless presentation. So really, any type of room scenario that you might have, classroom, conference room, auditorium, multi-purpose spaces, whatever, we can address it with the scalable solution from ScreenBeam, Yamaha, and Lumens. So we'll open it up for questions, if you'd like, and I just color-coded this for the individual piece parts from the 3 vendors.
Greg,
Gina,
it looks like, yeah, we've got a couple. So first question, will you all be at Infocom?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Great.
Yep, for screen too.
We will also, Lumen speaking here, be at NAB within, I don't know, about 10 days or so. So if you're at NAB, we will also be there.
Great. Next question, is there somewhere to demo the bundled solution?
We can get that set up for you. Currently, we've tested them all together. We don't have it in a bundled configuration right now, but if you want to take that offline and contact us, we can get that set up.
Great. Are the solutions Teams and Zoom certified?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Perfect. Question from Carol. I assume that the Cam Connect Pro works with any NDI camera?
Well, currently, the Cam Connect Pro solution supports Lumens-based cameras at this point, including Lumens NDI cameras.
Great. And then how can I set and control divide and combine room in Adesia?
So that is super simple to set up. We have a new combine and divide room setup tool within our RM device manager, which is part of the Adesia solution. If you want to reach out to us directly, be happy to go over any particular application. But essentially, you set the one room up, run the auto tuning, set the other room up, run the auto tuning, take a snapshot, call that preset one, then open the door, log into one box, include the equipment from the other room, rerun the auto tuning, and call that preset too. Takes me probably about 5 minutes and a few mouse clicks to do.
Yeah, if I can add to that, this is Andrew with Lumens. We've recently added some template sections within the configuration menus of Cam Connect Pro. So as the room is set up, you can put in different configurations for when you are dividing and combining.
And again, keep in mind of our control as well. So now with Adesia, you really don't need a third-party control system. We can talk to those cameras in any third-party device and store all the commands in our controller and execute them from our touch panels and control as well.
Someone is asking what audio Tim is on. That's the RMTT tabletop mic, right, Tim?
Yes, I am on the RMTT currently. Generally, I do these demonstrations with the ceiling mic, but since we weren't doing an active demo today, I opted to go with a hypercardioid beam about 18 inches from my mouth. I should sound like a DJ in a booth.
DJ
Always.
Mackie.
Are there any other questions?
Again, please get with us too. If you want to see a demo in my space of this solution, happy to do that. We do some amazing demos with the ceiling mic, and there's some great videos of us doing just that on our YouTube channel as well.
Well, thank you all for participating this morning. It looks like most of you stayed on for the full event. We greatly appreciate that. It does take a little time to get through these three solutions together, but as you can see, it's definitely worth it. We've done a lot of advanced work with our reseller partners and end users to be able to provide a cohesive, smoothly operating solution like this that can scale to any size needed. So, thanks.
We do have a couple of last questions, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
It says, can the RMCG provide coordinates for specific presets with Lumens cameras? Absolutely. In fact, Lumens has a video on YouTube of how to set up the RMCG with their cameras, and they have an instruction, quick little 5-page PDF as well. I've done it here in my space. It's extremely intuitive and very easy to do. Last question, this might be for you, Andrew. With multiple cameras, does it automate camera movement to different active speakers before switching where the camera movement is not seen by the far end? Does that make sense, Andrew?
That makes 100% sense. We have a feature that is called motionless presets. So basically, it takes a millisecond, or you can actually define the amount of time. So it will actually move the camera, temporarily freezing the previous image before it goes to the next shot.
Terrific. Did we get one more question pop up in there?
Looks like how much bandwidth do we need for a standard room?
So bandwidth, not so much, right? Because our audio streams are very low bandwidth. Dante actually doesn't require a lot of bandwidth for network traffic. Same with the cameras. Andrew can address that. They have a bit higher bandwidth for the video than audio, obviously. But with this solution, if you look at the back of the RMCR, there are 2 network ports, one to go to the Yamaha switch or to the AV switch, isolated, and then we have a second port to connect to the customer or host network. So you can manage this entire solution out of band. So the whole premise here is you're not going to put any of this traffic on your corporate network or your standard network. We will be a kind of a isolated network within ourselves.
And Gina, if you can note who's asking that question, I'm not looking at the chat or the Q&A, but we can definitely reach out directly to them and address that offline.
Yeah, that was Carol Walker. And thank you, Carol. Great question. But again, the audio streams are very small, actually. But it's generally good practice to keep your AV network for your conferencing separate from your data network.
Yeah, so
Hey,
from the
Gina.
Lumen side, we would recommend about a 1 gigabit backbone on any system with the cameras themselves. And then to Tim's point before, I put in the chat a link to how to set up our Cam Connect Pro with the Odessia on YouTube.
Hey, Gina, quick question. In the webinar chat, Bill asked a great question and I answered it, but it said to host some panelists. I'm just hoping Bill was able to see the answer.
Let's see. Okay, I'll make sure he gets the answer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I got you, Bill. If you can't see it, I did answer it. We'll get it to you.
Yep. And we will be sending out the recording as well. So feel free to share this with anyone that you think might be interested. And we thank you so much for your time today, everyone.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.